No, I can share it.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Okay. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going to discuss only PMOB 65, 64, and 82. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. All right. So, so you said you had some queries. So I'm ready to answer them if possible.
Okay. David, do you have that sample packets which you have sent to us?
A sample package?
Yeah, packets.zip, which you have sent right that. Yeah, can you open that?
You mean a package, right? That is going to be added to this working model, or what do you mean?
Okay, okay. Let me share my screen now.
Okay, all right. Okay, so
Yeah.
okay.
Just a minute, David.
Okay.
Even I have.
Yeah, open it.
I should you don't right.
Okay, I opened. I opened. Okay, is my screen visible, David?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so so inside the packets, so I'm just opening that index.html. Okay, let me. The query is actually see. We have this activity, and if you are navigating to one by one.
Yes.
Okay, if you see in the right corner, we have that next button is disabled, right? Go to. Okay, so the query is if we tap on the next screen, we need to move to the menu, right, for the next activity. Menu.
Yeah, but this is something different, because what you can see here is a package containing a few pages.
Okay.
In the app, we're going to have activities that are going to have just one page, and we need to develop these buttons ourselves. They need to, so the package, when we display it, it needs to be behind the buttons. The buttons are going to be ours. Okay? So we're not going to use the ones that are in the package.
Okay, you're telling that is if that buttons are from our end, right? We need to
Yes,
place
the buttons are on our, yes, exactly.
Okay, see, okay, so just consider the scenario. Just user is downloading a lesson, and the lesson contains this activity. Okay. Okay. See, as soon as the user finishes this activity, that is that six activities in the sixth page. See, when you tap on the next button, we need to redirect to the menu, right?
No, we need to open another activity if it belongs to the same skill.
If there is any other activity in the same thing, then we have to direct it to the next one. Or else, if there is no activity, then
so the courses page we need to show expandable history, right?
No.
We have to redirect the activity page of the next. Of the next
same
one.
thing will be contained in the next lesson, right?
No, wait. See,
let me try to explain it again. This is a bad example because we have a number of activities in this one. So let's assume that there is just this one with the elephant, okay? And this is one of the activities, one of two activities that are devoted to pronunciation, right? So this is activity pronunciation A, and we have some other activity pronunciation B. And at the bottom, for example, let's imagine that next to seances, we have next. When we tap next, we need to call the app to open another activity. If this would be the only activity for pronunciation, we wouldn't do that. We wouldn't display this next button.
Okay, and yeah.
In that case, these two buttons will be handled by whom?
Yeah, because this handle this is previous navigation and next navigation, which was handled in the packet itself, right?
So
yeah, and we're not using that. We are talking about another thing that we're going to have navigation that is going to be above the package, and we need to develop it. We need to manage it. The app must.
We'll get another packet, right? This packet is for now, and when we develop this story, we'll get some other packet.
So you mean that you need a demo? Is that correct?
No, the way I'm saying that this package contains this type of buttons and this type of activities. You're saying we'll get another package so that this won't be there. We'll place some other buttons there, like that you're saying, or how?
Yeah. So in the packages that we're going to receive, there aren't going to be these buttons, these left and right buttons. We need to add our own buttons at, let's say, at the bottom, right? And these need to communicate with the app, not with the package.
Okay.
That is okay. Sorry, to be clear, see, this previous and next will be handled. The last button only we need to handle. You're telling like that only, right?
No, both he's saying this previous and this will be handling, and this won't be there. This close button won't be there, right? The way from the next packet.
I don't know about the one that is closing I need to ask this question because this is, I don't know if it's going to be there or not. If it's going to be there, then we do not need to simply create this back button that I was described there. So I will ask the team, the content team, about that and get back to you and update the description in Jira if necessary. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, and see, just a suggestion, as you mentioned, actually, if we have two packets for this, that is two activities, this activity is followed by another activity, so we need to enable the next button right here. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I know it would be much better to have, for example, if the two activities would be in one package and we would have these pages as here. This would be much better. There is one problem though. The problem is that if we want to send the score via tin can, we can do it only for an entire package. Okay, so if we have two or more pages, it is going to calculate score for the entire package, while we want to be able to display a score for activity A and activity B. That's the problem. Okay, that's why, because if we could use these, then we wouldn't need anything about that, right? So this is it. This is the problem.
Yeah, here comes one more query, David, just to identify. See, as you mentioned, see, for user interaction, if I click on this next button, as you mentioned, we'll be redirected to next activity you told. So, but what I'm asking is, the suggestion is, we will just move to that course menu. From there, we will select that. See, for an example, this packet is a reading activity. Just consider this packet is a reading activity. See, after finishing this reading activity, see, he has one more activity called comprehension. Just take the example. See, if the user finishes off and clicking on the next button, we need to redirect to the menu, right? Instead of moving to activity.
He's saying you have to navigate to next activity only, not to the menu again. Shouldn't be showing the menu.
Okay, so if there is, well, There are different situations in which we have another activity in this skill, and when we do not have another activity in this skill. If there is an activity in this skill, we need to open another activity. I wouldn't like to have a situation in which the user, for example, there are two activities for pronunciation. We finish activity A for pronunciation. We need to go back to the table of contents and select activity.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
And I wouldn't like to see this movement, right? So I wouldn't like to see it, even if it was like we go back and then we immediately automatically open it. No, it's unacceptable. So we need to figure out how to do that. That activity A opens activity B, and we click, and when we click back, we go back to the table of contents. However, if is that clear?
Okay, sir. Yeah, I got clear, but the thing is, just I'm asking. See, consider you have 10 activities, and the user is giving next, and how the user knows which activity he is doing now.
We'll display it above, right?
There is going to be a title or something in the package itself. We do not need to deal with that. We need to deal just with the menu, and we need to do it somehow on the app, so that we know that this is another activity, and this activity allows us to go to another activity.
Okay, David, here we have two buttons, right? Check answer and correct answer. Like that, we'll be having next activity or just the next button.
Yeah.
Because next button will the same as moving to the next page. If the user wants to know, we can keep it as next activity, or we'll give up the pop-up like you're moving to the next activity. Some other actions will be performing there.
No, only moving to another activity and going to the previous activity and closing the package. That's it.
Okay, there won't be any intimation to the user that the user is moved to the next activity.
No.
Okay. David, as we discussed with our team here working with LRS, they said that this score, you can see your score is something is coming, right? That event will be given by who's creating this package. So from there we'll get they'll give some event listener. So from there we'll read that event and we'll store it like that. They gave us the information.
Yeah, I know that. I know that what you are displaying here is the scale, right? However, there is also a possibility to fetch the field that is called raw, I think, and it should be the number of points that the user got, not the scale, because here you have just the scale, but it should be something like there are three fields: maximum score, minimum score, and raw. And raw is responsible for containing the score that the user got. Okay, there is something that I don't know the gory details, the technical details. That's the only thing that I was able to learn, because I'm wondering why you have 0.3 out of 1. I know why. I know why. You see, this is the problem with the fact that we have a number of pages, and this score is for the entire package.
Okay.
So you got 0.3 because you did just some of the exercises correctly. Okay. If there was just one exercise, you would have received one activity in this package. You would have received 1 out of 1 if you did that correctly. I think this is the problem. If you know what I mean, yeah.
We need to show the score for every activity.
For every activity, we
and also a total score for group.
Okay, see, if user is giving next activity here, we need to display the score here, or we don't want it.
Yeah, but please remember that we do not need to display the score here, right? As far as I know, we need to save it, and we need to display it in the table of contents, right? Not here. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Will be showing as a unit score or as an activity score?
Activity score.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm asking. For each activity, we won't display the score here.
Yeah, not in the activity page.
We'll be showing in the menu.
If the user is interrupting in the middle of the activity, at that point of time, what will be doing?
Yeah. Exactly. See,
Could you repeat your question?
Okay, see, if the user is perceiving this activity and this activity contains 6 pages. For an example, if user has done 3 pages and he just went out of the app, what will be the scenario to be handled?
So he or she has completed 1 or 3 activities and then left the app. Is that correct?
Sorry, in one activity, the user has completed only 3 questions. Yeah, and now he is just switching and he was killed the app. Just consider the scenario. Now what we have to do?
But he or she has completed at least some activities, right?
Not the activities. Some in one activity there is 6 questions. In that 6 question, only 3 is answered.
Yeah.
After the 3, he had moved to the next step or he had killed the app. At that situation, what will be showing as the score?
Well, we're just displaying the score that he or she got. So if he or she has not completed an activity, then we assume that he got 0 points for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All the scores will get in the package even, right, David? The score they'll be giving us and just we'll read the event and we'll be saving it in the file.
Yeah, exactly. And I informed the content team that they need to take care of proper scoring. So we're just going to display what they provide in the package. So they are aware that they need to score everything properly so that it displays properly in the app too.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. That close button will be there, right?
He will check it. Regarding the close button, he will check it first.
Okay. Okay. And one more thing. See, that activity contains 6 pages. See, if the user is went 3 pages, he is going back, and when that time also will
Not
be
only
0.
he said 0. Maybe it is interrupted, right? So I have one more doubt. The user has 10. If in the unit in the lesson there is 10 activity, the user tries to complete 22 activities and he wants to move to the next lesson. It will be possible or compulsorily he have to?
No, I
think we'll on click of the back button he'll go to the previous one, that is activity.
The interruption will be done.
The interruption has to
back button will be there.
We'll have the back button at the top, right? So that we'll go out of the complete.
But it is possible to move to next lesson, right? Without completing all the activities.
Without completing activities, which means the score will be 0 as we.
That's fine. No, I'm asking it will. We need to enable it, right? Or we need to disable.
That is why we have the back button at the left corner, so that we'll move to the lesson page before.
No, we need to ask or.
That will be having back previous back button.
We have this previous and next in the bottom. So based on that,
to move between the activities and the questions. Right?
Yeah, if we have to move, if he is complete, he has to go back to the lesson page. In case in between, if he has to go.
Okay. Just one more query. Okay, so consider we have 3 activities for this lesson. Okay, so when the user just completing the 3rd activity, when he gives the next button, what will have to happen?
We won't display at that time. We won't display, right? Only if the user moves on to the last activity, we won't display the next button. The next button will be disabled.
Then how come you'll go?
Exactly.
Okay, so if you want to go for next lesson, then you need to navigate through back button, and you need to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and so just one more query, David. See, if the lesson has 3 activities, we can allow the user to go for next lesson without completing the first activity, right? For an example.
Yes, if they belong to the same skill, right? Just remember about that. So we have, for example, 3 activities, and 2 of them belong to pronunciation and 1 for grammar. So the user can open only pronunciation, move from exercise 1 to exercise 2, or from exercise 2 to exercise 1. However, if he or she wants to open activity number 3, he or she needs to go back to the table of contents and pick grammar. Okay, this is the difference, right? So we need to distinguish. We need to bear in mind that there is this concept of skill that we do not display in the table of contents. Okay, I did that. It is shown in the JSON that I shared with you. So it's there, right? Because there are skills.
Okay.
However, they are not going to be displayed in the table of contents. Okay, is that clear?
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, what
Okay.
means
Yeah.
each user will be having separate skills.
Okay.
According to the skill, we display whether this skill will belong to him or not. If he scans the QR code,
Okay.
there will be a check. This user has allowed action to perform with these skills.
Okay.
So in that way, he's saying that if the user is ready to have another skill, will be enabled. Otherwise, it won't be enabled.
No, he was telling. No, I guess he is not telling me.
That way he said, if he is well and good for the next skill to have, he will be moved to the next step. Right?
No, he was telling like, see, for an example, if it is 2 pronunciation activity and 1 grammar activity, if he has completed only 2 pronunciation, he has not completed grammar.
We won't move him to the next lesson until or unless he has the skill to go.
How come?
No,
While we scan the QR,
no, he was telling like, see, if he hasn't completed that grammar code, in the next level we'll just show only pronunciation. We won't allow to download that grammar library.
Why will we not allow them to download?
first we are going to give only the sample of contents. If the user is well and good to have all the skills, we'll allow him for next download process. Otherwise, there won't be any download. David, we had one clarification. Can you repeat
What you
have told?
Regarding that pronunciation and
That
grammar.
skill of the user to have.
Okay, all right. Can I share my screen then?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure. I'll stop sharing.
Okay, can you see my screen?
No, David.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, David.
Okay, so let me describe it like that. So we have lesson 1, right? In lesson 1, we have the pronunciation skill,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And then we have activity A,
Okay.
activity B, right? And we have another, and this is, and these are, so this is what the structure looks like, right? So we have this one,
Okay.
and we have this one. We also have skill, let's call it grammar,
Okay.
and we have activity C. When we open the table of contents, when we see, the user sees the table of contents, he sees something like that, lesson 1.
Okay.
And in lesson 1, there is activity A, activity B, activity C. The difference, so this is what the user sees, right, in the table of contents. But from our point of view, when the user goes to activity A, he has a next button which will allow him to go to activity B. And when he opens activity B, the next button disappears or is disabled, but the previous button gets active because the user can go back to this activity A. There is no way to move from activity A or B to activity C. What the user needs to do, he or she needs to go back to to this place, right, to the table of contents, and select activity C.
Okay.
That's why. That's why in the final. Let me just continue. In the final JSON that I'm working on right now, we're going to have each activity will have a field, right, in the JSON file that is going to determine the skill.
Okay.
So you will be able to pass the JSON and see it there. For now, it is under some custom field. I don't remember what the field is. However, I called it skill 1, so you can spot it in the JSON file. So you can start doing that. And however, for next week, I will try to provide you with a final JSON that is going to contain all the custom fields that we need in order to manage that.
Okay. And the query, one more thing is, okay, so now you have lesson 1 and your pronunciation and grammar scale. So now consider in lesson 1, user has completed activity B. Okay, now the user is navigating to the main menu and going for lesson 2. So what will be the scenario?
Well, these have nothing in common. These have nothing in common. So if user goes to lesson 2, then well, we don't do anything about that. We display scores for activity A, right, because he or she has completed it. Activity B, we do not display any score for activity C because it hasn't been done yet.
Yeah, exactly. So we that is the query is we will allow to move to lesson 2, right? We will allow.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Yeah. But via the table of contents, not without any next previous buttons. No, we do. The user must go back to the table of contents, go back to the list of lessons, and choose lesson 2.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so shall we proceed with the estimation?
So for which
65 and 64.
64.
Yes, 65 and 64.
Meanwhile, David, I have a query in the QR scanner. Actually, we have 2 stories corresponding to the QR scanner completely. Like in this sprint, we have taken one thing and we are taking another one in the upcoming sprint. My query is that should we navigate, based on the QR, we are navigating it to the activity page, right? Is it the current sprint story or are we taking it in the next sprint's UAC?
Well, actually, I thought that we would be able to do that in this first sprint, but if there are problems with that, we can postpone it to the second sprint. However, I thought that we would be able to do that here in PMOB 38, going to the appropriate place in the JSON file, in the table of contents. Sorry.
Yeah, the thing is that right now we are just validating the QR code, and based on the JSON ID which we were talking in the talking about in the daily Scrum, based on the type of the activity we can navigate it, but then the pages corresponding to that are still under development.
Okay. All right. So for now, we can stay at the situation in which we just open the activity. Okay. Would that be okay for now in this sprint, and we can continue in the second sprint? Would that be okay with you?
For the in this QR scanner story, we can cover whether the QR code is a valid one or not, and what else do you want me to cover?
To open an activity, whatever activity. So we would need to be able to validate the QR code, and then open the activity, whatever activity you want. It can be always the same activity, no matter what QR code it is.
Some kind of dump activity.
Pardon?
Some kind of sample activity.
Yes, exactly. I just want to see this functionality working. So it can be any activity. We do not need to go to the appropriate place in the table of contents if it's impossible at the moment.
Okay, David. Okay, that will be fine, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, so back to PMOB 65 and 64 estimation.
Sure. So from local, the event we get the score, and we need to store that in user defaults, right?
Even if you have some translation, clarify whether it is a local or it is global.
Scores, right?
Scores.
David, we have a query here. The scores will be calculated locally or from through server calls.
It is going to be fetched from the package.
From the package.
It will be done.
Yeah.
See, then so for inside activity for each page or each question, we need to save it already.
That's why we need this tin can compliance and mocking this LRS thing in order to be able to fetch it.
They will give me
Please be quick, guys.
Okay, here in this story we will tell on the score. Yes,
Just
but
the score and we will read the activities.
no. See, we get the score, and if the user closes or move back, we need to set the score automatically.
We have two stories for that, 65 and 64.
64 what?
No, this is 65. No, and we discussed. No.
64.
65 is that is what we have discussed is we'll get the score inside the function.
64 is displayed
In the event
Next button, yeah.
from the packets. Okay, that we need to fetch that score
and then
and we need to save it in a variable or internal storage energy.
65 is about scoring. 64 is about setting the back buttons previous.
Yeah, because navigation is
but
the
there if we handle, we'll read the data. Okay, in at that time we will know how to read it. If for 65 you can easily apply the scores.
65. For navigation is
5.
For navigating,
65.
okay, for 65 is about scoring, you want 3.
Yes.
David, for 65, the team fails 3 for story points. And
Okay.
for 64, 5.
Okay, all right. It is not saving. No, it's not. I saw that problem yesterday, and I wonder why it's so. Let me see again. All right.
We usually enter the story points in a field called story points.
Okay, all right. Oh, that might be the reason. Let me see. All right, and user story.
I think you can
No, I think
search for it. Yeah, here. Yes.
okay. All right, update.
And then
Okay.
for
And I
64,
wonder here I use this one. Okay, so in the remaining ones I use this one. Do you want me to update the ones that I did yesterday?
that's okay. We can update it later, or I can do it
Okay.
offline. David.
Okay. So it was 5 for this one. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
so one more story is left. PMOB 82.
What about that?
QR scanner.
See, I want the app to automatically start downloading the activity which has not been downloaded yet. So
You want me to open?
Just open it.
82.
David, small doubt here. For each activity, will we have a corresponding QR code, or how is it going to for each lesson?
No. For each lesson, we're going to have. No, wait. Just wait.
Because if it's for each activity, then there are numerous conditions to handle here.
Let me think. Let me figure it out because I remember we had a discussion about that. So in a lesson there are about 5 activities. in which we have 3 skills. So each QR code is going to lead to a skill, actually, and it is going to open the first activity in this skill. Right, so it is like that.
Okay, so the QR code will not actually redirect to the activity page. It will redirect to the skill.
Yes.
Am I correct? Okay.
Yes, you're correct. You're absolutely correct. Yeah, and please remember that this. So this is going to provide you with an ID of a skill, and you need to figure out which activity is there and open an activity, the first activity within that skill. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah.
But then, David, if we have to open a particular activity, then there has to be some information in the QR also, right? QR code also, right? Because
yes, if you go back, you need to go back to the appropriate place in the table of contents. Yes.
But he's saying that each activity. Yeah, no, not for each activity. Each skill will have a particular QR code, but then we need to figure out. We need to figure out based on the QR code that which type of activity it is. So will it be like, suppose if it's a video content, then the QR code content will be starting with video, or if it's audio, then audio or something like that will be there, David?
Well, there aren't going to be any activities containing just a video or a audio, right? There is going to be an activity that you need to complete. Okay, so you scan a QR code. If there is just one activity in this skill, so for example, there is just, let's see, let's get back to this one. So we have scanned this grammar QR code because there is a QR code here next to that. We are taken immediately because there is just one activity in this skill, so we are immediately taken to activity C.
Okay.
And if we tap back button, we see this, all this.
Okay. But I'm just figuring out a way how we'll be able to navigate to that particular activity, because if it's for a level or if it's for a unit, then it will be possible to open that screen. But then that particular activity screen, it's like
the user wants for an activity, he has to go for the second.
No, if the user is outside, if the user scans the app.
Because we need some more clarity in this USC. That's why we are just.
Cool. Yeah, but well, so let me think. Because we can design a QR code the way we want, right? So we need to figure out what data we would need to have in the QR code in order to be able to determine the position in the table of contents, as well as to open an appropriate activity or an appropriate skill, right? Okay. So this is the thing that we need to figure out here, right? And then when we design the what is behind the QR code, we're going to start using the QR codes so that the app can pass it. So let me think. Let's have a scenario in which we have unzipped a lesson, right? So lesson 1, it has some ID, right? We archive it, right? Save, and we have let me think. We have a path to the lesson.
Yes.
And so we have a folder with a lesson. We have a path to it, right?
Yes.
And we have a map which says lesson 1, ID for lesson 1 is on the path. Okay?
Okay.
Like that. So it's on the path. Okay. And then when we and when we scan a QR code, in the QR code we have an ID, lesson ID. So we check what is the lesson ID, and we can go to this folder, right?
Okay.
So, yeah. But in the QR code, we also have, in the QR code, we have a skill ID.
Okay.
We open the first skill ID there, right? Depending on the JSON, because it is going to be there. And for example, this folder could be stored in a map, or we could have it in a. We could name the folder after the name of the ID, and we would simply add this path skill ID. And then we need to figure out index HTML. And then we can open it. At least that's what I would think, but that's what it. There are probably some traps here that we need to figure out, but that's how I would start.
Okay. We already tried implementing this the same kind of scenario in Pearson Go. We had a sample working QR code model. So there, what we had done is we had some 4 levels, I guess. For each level, we had a separate QR code, and based on the QR code, we would navigate it to the corresponding level or the player page. But then there, the conditions were very limited. So we could do it easily, but in this case we have some complexities. We have to there are some things, that's why we had some queries.
You want to split the story then?
Yeah, because well, if it's so problematic, what we could do actually is we could do it this way, that we wouldn't go to an appropriate place in the table of contents. We would just open an activity. What we would need to, or open is, because when you scan a QR code, this is not a QR code for an activity. This is a QR code for a whole skill. So we need to keep this, we need to maintain this functionality of switching between activities, right? So PMOB 64, right? So we would need to keep that. But what I could do would be to convince the stakeholders that it's impossible to go to an appropriate place in the table of contents, and we would just open an activity. Goes back, so he closes the activity, we go back to the scanner. Would that be helpful in any way?
You mean, so this is also I mean, this condition also says that the page, I mean the activities page has to be loaded. Am I correct, David?
Yeah, so then we would need to have a map containing ID for activity, right? Activity, right? And then so let's do it this way, path, right? So when we unarchive a lesson, right, we see that there are a few activities. We create a map containing this activity with this ID has path this and this and this and this. When we scan a QR code, we receive an ID for this activity, right? And we are taken to the path. Maybe this would be better. No.
Okay. So just give me a minute, David. We'll have a discussion.
Okay.
The thing is, like, if it is for a particular activity, I mean, particular lesson or something like that, we can hard code it. We can just, based on the QR, we can use it. But then, if it's for an activity, we'll have several conditions. We can't
Yes.
type it each and every time.
Actually, he said that in the coming JSON, the skills will be there. We have to check whether the user has the access skill activity. That condition also you have to handle, right?
So David, is it possible to split this story into two, because there are many conditions involved here, and we can split it like in the first part we can handle the download and checking if the unit has been downloaded or not, and those conditions, and then in the second part we can navigate the application to a particular page.
Okay, right. Okay, if it's helpful in any way, yeah, we can do that. Okay, so let's do that immediately.
Yeah. I'll make a list of the conditions to be handled, and we can go for the estimation.
As soon as I want to, how to put it? I want to scan an activity.
And check whether the user has
An activity and have the app check if the lesson has been downloaded, so that so to figure out needs to be downloaded. Is it any helpful? Because I don't know if it was the story that you wanted.
Yeah, as a user, I want to scan an activity and have the app check if the lesson has been downloaded. Okay, David, that would be fine. We are just checking if the user has downloaded the unit, or we have to download it again.
Okay, all right. I will add the description later. Okay, so I'm creating it. Okay, all right, it's here. Okay, and then we have this one. As I want the app to automatically start downloading a lesson when I scan an activity which has not been downloaded yet, so that I can complete the activity offline. Oh, I'm thinking whether we should keep this one.
Yes.
And choose this one. So as a user, I want to open an activity. If it has been, I want to scan an activity and open it and have it opened if it has been downloaded. Would it be better?
Yes, David, that would be better.
Okay, and have the app open. Yeah. Yeah. Open the activity if it has been downloaded, so that I can complete it. Okay.
Okay, so the first part mainly handles the scan and mapping the QR to the particular activity, and then check if the file has been downloaded or not. And then later, if it's not downloaded, we have to download it. I mean, these 5 things are handled in the first part, and in the second part, the navigation functionality and the opening the activity, corresponding activity, is handled in the second part. Am I correct, David? That's how we're doing it, right?
Yes, yeah. So we scan an activity. If it has been downloaded, we open it. If not, then we need to. Then we go to a lesson, and the lesson gets automatically, and the lesson automatically starts downloading. Yeah.
Okay. So can we estimate it? Like we would like to have 5 points for the first story and 3 points for the second one. Is that fine with you, David?
Yeah, that's fine with me. Yeah.
Okay, because we have some more conditions to handle in the first part, and the third, I mean, that's why we have given 5 points for that.
I fully agree that this is tough. Yeah, I realize that this might be difficult because there are lots of things to handle.
Okay, David, thank you.
Okay, so we have 3 or 5, and we're going to have 3 here.
points total, I guess.
It's not going to work like that. Here we are. All right. Okay, so we have all the estimates, right? So we have 3, 6, 11, 16, 21, 24, 29, 32, 34, 36.
Yeah.
Would that fit one sprint, 2-week sprint?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then it's absolutely fine, because this is the functionality that I would like to be in the working model. So yeah, that would be great.
Okay. That's it.
Okay, David.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. If I will supplement this PMOB 124 with a description tomorrow, because I'm leaving in a second, because I have a few meetings today that I want to do from home. So yeah. So I'm going to continue doing that tomorrow, and yeah, that's it. So see you tomorrow during the daily.
Sure, David. Yeah. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.